Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome
Awesome.
back.
To the Revitalized podcast.
Revitalized podcast.
Absolutely
That's
brought
right.
to you. Yep, brought to you by Revitalized Academy. I am Elle Oliver.
And I'm Justyn. We're your
Yes.
hosts. Today, we're going to be talking about something called the health spectrum because a lot of people think that health is just, it's like a light switch. Either you're healthy or you're sick. Either you have a six-pack or you're obese. Either you're 22 years old or you're 88 years old, and somehow people seem to have forgotten this idea that there's space in between. There are numbers in between 21 and 88, and there's body fat percentages between six-pack shredded and 33% body fat morbidly obese. There are layers and levels and phases to health, and we wanted to kind of break that down a little bit and explain it in a as simple way as we can,
Yes.
so everyone can kind of just have a little self-assessment point and just see where your own health is at and some things you can do about it and what to look for and just what you want to gauge, because I mean we ask people every single day how healthy they are, and for a lot of folks it's tough for them to answer. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
I'm generally pretty healthy, or I'm
Yeah.
really not healthy.
You know, it kind of reminds me of the GRAS labeling that you see on food, like the generally recognized as safe.
Yep.
And I think people have this generally recognized as health idea. But until you actually go into the context of it and you break down the details, then you're like, oh, you know what? I do have problems sleeping. I'm not okay with the way my physique is right now. I don't have energy throughout the day. I constantly need to nap. I constantly have cravings, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it goes. And it's like, that's a problem. Like, all of these symptoms is your body communicating to you that something needs to be done. And so that's what we want to go more into detail here and give you guys a visual to understand that there is so many more layers to being healthy than what some may realize.
That's right. That's right. So, without further ado, let's pull up the surface here. Hopefully, that's turning over well on the stream. But mind my imperfect circles. But there are 5 main levels to this health spectrum, 5 main layers to this onion that we're going to go over today. And the 2 first ones, just so that we're super clear on what we're talking about, there is like ideal, optimal, picture perfect textbook health, which is what we're all looking for, which we're all aiming for. And then there is the opposite of that, which is just total sickness and
Yeah.
dysregulation and everything just not working well. So
Yeah, 2 extremes.
2 extremes. So the first extreme in the green zone here, we got peace. That is the absolute most healthy possible state your body can be in, is when things are at peace. That means that for you more educated or scientifically minded folks, we're talking about homeostasis. Everything's in balance. You have enough protein, a good pH balance, you're hydrated, you're sleeping well, your hormones are regulated, everything's just nice where it should be. Think like Goldilocks, right? And then we think the opposite of that.
Just right.
Just right. And we think the opposite of that, and that would be chaos.
Yeah. Where the body is literally, the body and the mind are essentially in a state of chaos.
That's right. And we don't want to be in chaos, obviously, but that chaos ultimately, like, that's sickness and disease.
Yes.
That's your immune system not functioning. That's your nervous system going into stress case mode.
Everything is compromised.
That's labels. That's sentences. That's illnesses. That's all the stuff that we don't want. It's the body functioning far off of its original design, because I mean, not one of us have ever had to plug a USB drive into our arm and program our body how to convert oxygen into energy, how to
At
take
least I
this
haven't.
gas and then turn it into an energy source so that our muscles can move and contract and relax and we can walk. Like, that was pre-programmed. So many things that would prevent us from getting sick are already there. They're already in the body. They're already in our DNA. They're already in our genes. Everything is already come packaged goods. We live a lifestyle most of the time that disrupts those things, dysregulates those things, and causes everything to get out of balance. And so the farthest point from this balance would be this chaos that we want to avoid. And when you're at peace, I mean, life's freaking really good. You feel like an absolute superhero.
Yes.
So I'm just going to draw this over here. Do.
You literally like don't have issues. You are sleeping fine. You are, and you're energized. You're happy to wake
Totally.
up every single morning. You literally feel Like you don't have anxiety
That's right.
in your body. You don't feel like time is going past you really, really quickly.
That's right. You feel good every day.
Yes.
You can move dynamically without any pain. You are impressed with what you see in the mirror. You're impressed with your physique. You're impressed with your posture. You're impressed with your personality. And living healthy, it's really easy and it's really fun. And this is our ultimate goal. Like everything we talk about with health, it's ultimately to achieve this piece. It's to become that health superhero. That's what we're all looking for. But there are these levels to everything else in between peace and chaos. And one of the first signs is when something starts to go wrong. Maybe we slip on the diet a little bit. We get exposed to some toxins. Something bad happens. We start to, whoops, got to fix that real quick. We start to notice some signs. And you might be asking, like, what's the first sign that we're getting out of peace, that we're getting out of the green zone? The first thing is actually going to be cognitive impairment.
Yes.
So if you're starting to notice that your thinking isn't quite as sharp, your memory's not quite as sharp, your attention span, your executive function, your creativity, your imagination, all these parts of your cognitive function.
I would also like add into that too, like your general happiness.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
obviously it's a little bit
For sure.
different, but it because it just like the way you live, the way you treat your body, the state of being that you're at, it affects your mood so much.
That's right. And so your mind is the first thing that starts to get affected. Fatigue, confusion, anxiety. And when that happens, I mean, it's nothing crazy, but you know, you get a little slowed down. Like that's the
Yeah.
main thing. You're not quite as sharp. You're not in your A game. You know, you wouldn't want to walk into a conference room and try to negotiate a $10 billion business deal because it's just you're not having your best day ever. But the problem with that is that that's just the first layer. That's a stepping stone.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it is so flippin' common for people to have cognitive impairment that everyone just
Brushes it
bundles it
off.
up to normal.
Yeah.
It's just totally acceptable. It's not weird to forget where you parked your car at Walmart 30 minutes ago. It's not weird to forget your kid's birthday. It's not weird to get lost in thought and not wonder where you are or where you're driving and you miss 3 turns because you're just so zoned in on some random thought. Those things are just normal.
Exactly. It's
Everybody
not
has
weird to
that. That's just
use
aging.
your calculator for a simple equation. Like it's
That's
not
right.
weird to like do all these things that again like they're considered normal, and that's one of the reasons why so many people are dealing with health issues today. That's why
Exactly.
we have a chronic health crisis.
Exactly.
Because there's too many signs, right? There's too many signs and literal red flags that are getting ignored.
And unfortunately, we're not taught to look at cognitive impairment as a sign of sickness,
Yeah.
as a sign that we're getting away from our healthiest self.
Dysfunction.
It's become normal. And a lot of the time people confuse popular and normal. Just because it happens to a lot of people doesn't mean that it's supposed to, right? And so we start to have some signs. First signs, cognitive impairment. And we ignore it because it's normal. It's accepted. Everyone's expecting that you're not going to think quite as sharp as you used to. And, you know, you're 25 now. You're not 19 anymore. So it's normal to have some chronic fatigue where you wake up and you're tired every single day of your life.
Getting
That's
up there in the
accepted.
golden
You work
years.
hard and you're not 19 anymore. And so, you know, people just brush this stuff off and they don't make any course corrections because they don't even really think there's a big problem. And so we keep going. And now it goes to the next layer, and the next most common thing is gastro dysfunction. That is so synonymous
Yeah.
with health problems and health issues. But again, it's extremely common.
Yeah.
People don't have a problem eating food and then feeling bloated afterward. They
Yeah.
don't think it's an issue to have a meal and then get tired. What would happen if you were to put some gas in your car and all of a sudden the engine slowed down? You'd be thinking that's some messed up fuel. That's probably not very good gas. It shouldn't go to that gas station again. But people do that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just what they've come to expect from their food. They don't eat to fuel anymore. People eat for comfort. People eat for indulgence. People eat because of marketing. People eat because of convenience. And we're just trying to say that like that's not supposed to be normal.
No.
That's not supposed to be the way that you live every day. Food is not supposed to be a frustration. It's not supposed to be a source of sickness. It's supposed to be a medicine to the body.
Yes.
And so it causes some issues when people have this kind of stuff. And now we're getting to the point where like things are starting to get clear that if you're paying attention, there's a problem. And now things are starting to get strained.
Yeah.
Like you're like, well, I can't quite do things like I used to anymore.
Yeah.
And it's becoming harder and harder to ignore.
And you're feeling more and more uncomfortable, even sitting in certain ways or wearing certain clothes that you should be able to wear.
That's right.
And it just like the problems do keep going worse and worse and getting worse and worse. And because it's like after you eat, as an example, you should feel completely energized.
Yeah, you should feel
It
good.
should feel light. It shouldn't feel heavy. It shouldn't
Exactly.
feel draining. There
Yep.
shouldn't be bloating. There shouldn't be problems with your food.
That's right.
And with you digesting your food. Remember, it's not just the food, it's also the way you're digesting your food.
That's right.
Those are two parts of the equation.
And by this time, this is where things start to take a nosedive because we've started to have negative impacts on our brain with the cognitive impairment. And the brain is, I mean, hopefully we don't have to explain to anybody that it's really, really important for your brain to be working well, right? And then the next layer, now we're also seeing a massive detriment on the gut. And you put those two things together, I mean, that's affecting your whole gut-brain system, which is, in our opinion, one of the like most important roots of everything your body does. Health, sickness, it goes both ways. And both of those systems are starting to get some serious work done on them. That's why we're noticing symptoms. Symptoms are the warning signs of damage and dysregulation and imbalance and things just not really going well. And so, the body is starting to scream from the head and from the gut that there's some problems, and we continue to ignore it. We continue to go down this path of overexposure to toxins, malnutrition, stress, lack of sleep, partying, drinking, tons of stuff that everybody just does as part of normal life these days. And then we go to the next layer, and this is where things, like I mentioned, just start to kind of get serious. Like, it's not a good deal, okay? And this is where we have chronic conditions now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have all these warning signs.
Yeah.
And they're being ignored. And now they're starting to build up conditions. There we go. Let's learn how to spell real quick. And they're starting to build up and they're accumulating and now they're spreading. And one problem is causing other problems and other problems are causing other problems. And now we're getting to this point where we're starting to not so silently, suffer. And this is where it's affecting day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that you should be doing that you're not doing because your body doesn't want you to.
Yeah.
There's places you're not going that you could be going that your body doesn't want you to. Mm-hmm. There are things with your kids, things at work, things in day-to-day life, hobbies, vacations, trips. There's a bunch of stuff that is now closed off to you because your health is not allowing you to go down those doors, not allowing the 2-week vacation, not allowing the 4 hours in the backyard with the grandkids, not allowing the 2-hour gym sessions like you used to do when you were younger, not allowing you to consistently play on the sports team, not allowing you to do the deep creative work that you need to for your business, because the body is just, it's in a real bad state. We're having multiple organs show multiple different symptoms all at the same time, and they're not going away.
Yeah.
And we have this accumulation of chronic conditions, and that's just not a good idea.
People don't wake up with a chronic condition randomly.
No.
There's always a reason why.
Exactly.
And so if we trace it back, we can see why. And we can see why environmentally, meaning like a person's actual lifestyle. You can have predispositions, right? You can be more prone to certain conditions and less prone to others. But that doesn't mean that has to be your life sentence.
That's right.
Because again, this doesn't happen overnight. And this is what we've seen time and time again. And usually people are just told like, oh, it's your age. Or, oh, it's this. Oh, it's out of your control. Mm-hmm. That's not encouraging. That's not empowering.
No.
You can do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can. And that is why we do what we do. Because we have seen people again and again and again improve their mental and physical health radically by making healthier, better decisions. And we've seen them go backwards, where maybe if they went into the yellow or red zone, they've gotten back and back and back to even being in the green zone.
Oh yeah, totally. And now once we have these chronic conditions and then they go ignored, again, we go to the next layer, and that's just this full-blown chaos. And that's when multiple chronic conditions are starting to pool up together. It's not just symptoms that are pooling. Now we got conditions pooling.
Yeah.
And this is just full-blown suffering, because before, with the chronic conditions, it was having an effect on your life. In chaos, it has control over your life. It's not just that you shouldn't be doing these things or you don't want to be doing these things because you don't have the energy or your body's in too much pain or because you have to eat a certain way and you can't go to those kinds of restaurants anymore and you can't think the way you used to. Now it's just not an option to do anything other than get healthy.
Yeah.
Because we have ignored 4 layers of warning signs that the body was trying to get us to course correct, but we didn't. And so the problems started minor, then they became major, then those major problems made other major problems, and then now those problems are causing borderline catastrophe on the inside of the body.
An example of this also would be of someone in a bad relationship with someone else, right? It may start off slowly, subtly, with warning signs, with red flags. But the more that they just kind of ignore those, guess what? It can get really, really, really bad. And the same thing is with your health. The same thing is with a business. The same thing is, like we were just saying, in a relationship, right?
Totally.
If signs are not followed through on, if things are not dealt with and they're just swept underneath the rug, they will only ever get worse. Being healthy is not something that is an option. You know, just like choosing the wrong partner isn't something that is truly an option because of the cost of your life, because of the cost to your happiness, because of the cost of your general peace. Like, that's not worth anything. Like, your peace is priceless. Your body is priceless.
That's right.
Your health is priceless. And these things are really, really, really important.
That's right. So just to recap, so everybody can get just a really clear picture of what we're talking about. In your body's most absolute optimal state, that means everything's at peace.
Yes.
Things are relaxed. Your cells, your tissues, your organ systems, they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing in harmony with each other. Your liver's not fighting against your kidneys aren't fighting against your adrenals aren't sending false warning signs to your immune system to cause a bunch of problems. Things are just, they're cool, they're relaxed, they're calm, they're collected, you're properly nourished, you're not toxic on the inside, everything's moving, everything's flowing.
Yeah,
right?
the machine meaning your body is efficient.
That's right.
So it's able to operate efficiently.
Totally. And so the first layer of us getting out of this peace state, this health state, is going to be cognitive impairment. So if you notice that your cognitive function is going a little bit lower, a little bit less than it was before, that's the first sign that something is wrong.
Yeah.
That's not just a normal ignore, push under the rug kind of everyday deal. That's a clear issue your body is going through, okay? We ignore that. The next layer out is going to be gastro dysfunction. So bloating, cramping, indigestion, gut problems, microbiome problems. Those spread out and lead to immune problems and a bunch of other stuff because that the gastro layer, like, that spreads out to everything else because the gut's just so connected. But again, that's the next layer out. First it's your brain, then it's your gut. Start to ignore that. Now we're going to go into some actual chronic conditions because the roots of this problem is spreading further and further and further out into different types of organs, different systems, different issues. And now those symptoms aren't going away. The damage has been caused, and that damage is going to be whatever the condition manifests as: an autoimmune issue, a hormone problem, a digestive issue, a sleeping problem, some kind of a disorder, condition, symptom, whatever. And it's not going away because the damage has now outpaced your body's ability to heal. And if that goes ignored, then those conditions will keep spreading, lead to other conditions, multiple conditions coming together. Now we got some kind of a label, and that's when things are in total chaos. The immune system has forgot how to function totally. Your hormones are just in a complete and total imbalance storm. Digestion's a joke. Energy's through the floor. Performance and movement and strength is just not at all what it used to be. And unfortunately, life is not very fun in chaos. That's why chaos is so hated throughout human history, because it's not a good thing. It's never done anything good for anybody.
Exactly.
And especially in your body.
It only brings destruction.
That's right. But the good news is that this exact system you can use to reverse the order.
Yes.
You can get back into peace. You can get the brain healthy again. You can get the gut healthy again. You can get your chronic conditions kind of lowered. We can pour some water on all that inflammation and get the heat down, get the things starting to heal again, and get out of chaos.
We don't have to be enslaved by chaos.
That's right.
We don't have to be.
Exactly. And so the next time somebody asks you if you're healthy, hopefully now you have a bit of a better answer because you know where you're actually at. is, do you have any chronic conditions? No? Great. Awesome. You're not that far gone. Do you have any gut problems? No. Fantastic. You're much healthier than most people. Do you have any cognitive issues? Maybe a couple. And so you might need some work. But if you can say no or yes to any of those, that'll just help you really quickly. 30 seconds. Okay, I'm here. That means I need to take it this seriously, and I need to do this. And you can get back on track. But the idea is that health is not a light switch.
Yeah.
If health was a light switch, every person with a six-pack would live forever. And unfortunately, we know that's not the truth. And so we got to do some work. But the good news is the work can be done. It's a heck of a lot easier than most people talk about. And when you do the work, everything else in your life gets better because there's literally nothing that you can do or think or want that won't be improved by being a healthier person. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah,
Vacations are funner.
It's
Children
true.
are happier. Marriages are more exciting. Businesses grow faster. Dreams and imaginations are more vivid. I mean, there's literally nothing that you being healthier won't make better. And unfortunately, on the flip side, there's nothing in your life that you getting sick won't hurt.
Yeah.
And that's why we are so passionate about this stuff and why we do everything we can to try to teach as many families as possible how to be healthy, because we don't want people to get split up because of a sickness. We don't want kids to grow up without the best versions of their parents because their health wasn't there. We don't want businesses to fall under because they can't get run properly, and then the families that were depending on them don't get to live a good life. You know, like we want people to live a good life, and we just really believe that the secret to that is that you got to be healthy. You got to be healthy, body, soul, spirit. And if you can do that, if you can figure that out, you can prioritize it. Like, everything in life becomes super freaking awesome.
Yep. And then you can live life to the fullest.
That's right. Absolutely. So thank you guys for watching. This has been the Revitalized podcast. We appreciate you a whole ton.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. God bless you guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Absolutely.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Bye, guys.